The old Saudi man, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed, had not returned to India for 10 years. After his bad experience with his former Pakistani driver and Indian business client, Muhammad Khan, the old Saudi man made an oath with Allah by placing his right hand on the Quran and swearing that he would never go back to the accursed land of the Hindu idolaters. He kept this oath for 10 years. Nonetheless, his lust for female children inevitably drew him back. Someone in Tehran told him that there was a city in India called Hyderabad where there were Muslim marriage agencies. Those marriage agencies could supply him with a pretty little girl as young as 8 or 9 years old. The evil old man relished the memory of how he thied Ifat at that age and how he took her virginity at 9. After sleeping with her for 10 years, she was becoming an adult and had lost much of her sexual appeal as a child bride. He wanted to start all over again with another child bride. So he broke his oath with Allah and flew back to Hindustan. As was his habit with subterfuge, he lied to his Indian wife, Ifat, and her Iranian maidservants and security guard and instead told them that he was flying to Pakistan for business trip. Hyderabad airport felt to the old Saudi man much like any poor African Muslim country, such as Sudan or Somalia. Everybody was a Muslim and the city itself was named after an ancient Muslim king. There were mosques on every street. Every man had long beard and every woman walking on the street was covered with black burqa. Everyone looked as if he had been buried in the ground and then dug out. People were covered with dust and mud from head to toe. The streets were filthy and the buildings were dilapidated. There were no garbage containers and the garbage was freely and thoughtlessly strewn everywhere. If a visitor did not throw up on his arrival in that filthy city, he would never vomit again in his life. The old man regretted that he had come to that dirty Muslim city to further his plans. He could not believe that in such a city he would find a little damsel that he could marry and enjoy the rest of his life with. He even doubted that anyone could find a healthy female among the decrepit poor women he saw walking on the streets, like skeletons wrapped in black burqas. However, since he was already there, the old man decided to see it through with the hope that he might find a young girl, whatever her health condition, and take her to Tehran, nurse her back to health and then start his predatory ways with her. With those devilish thoughts in mind, the evil old man spent a few hours resting in a hotel, then took a taxi and headed to one of the foremost marriage agencies. The dalal, or pimp, who was running the marriage agency was known as Farooq Khan. He had a beard 1 meter long, that looked like an old dirty broom. He had the black mark of prayer on his forehead, which resembled the mark of the beast 666. On his left hand he clutched a long rosary and in his right, a green copy of his holy Quran from which he was reciting verses when the old Saudi man walked into his office. Ironically, his copy of the holy Quran was Arabic, a language as foreign to him as Japanese. This is one of the miracles of the non-Arabic speaking Muslims, but it wasn't the right place to try to figure it out. Muslims all over the world are required to read the Quran and pray 5 times a day in Arabic, although the majority of them can neither read nor write, or even speak that language. In fact, the Quran is written in the Arabic of the 7th century, which hardly can be understood by the Arabs of today. Without the help of a religious teacher, no Arab man or a woman can correctly pronounce a single verse of that outdated book. The Muslim pimp, Farooq Khan, proudly told the old Saudi man that he had been to his country and visited Mecca and Medina and done the Hajj 3 times. The old man praised him for his religious piety and asked Allah to bless his sons and daughters too. After a little chatting, the old man revealed the purpose of his visit. He said plainly that he wanted to marry a very small girl no older than 8. Farooq Khan told him that he could supply a girl of that age, but he warned him that he would not be able to take her to his country at that age. He said further that while he could forge a birth certificate and get a passport issued to her as a 17-year-old maidservant, the Indian airport police would probably see right through it. A young child at that age would look small and childlike, befitting her age. For that reason, Farooq Khan advised the old man to go for a small girl who already had her first period, but was still a virgin, but the old man said he would not accept a girl who had already started to menstruate. As an excuse, he said he would not trust such a girl, adding that anyone could have claimed her virginity before him without his knowledge. Eager to retain his obviously wealthy client, Farooq Khan suggested that the old man go for a 13-year-old girl who had not yet had her first period. The old man strongly rejected that suggestion and said that a 13-year-old girl would be too old for him. After 2 hours of intense discussion and bantering, the two wicked men settled for an 11-year-old girl. When that critical issue of age was finally decided, it took another hour of haggling to decide a price they could both agree upon. All the nitty-gritty concluded, Farooq Khan took the old man to a room where he could pick up his choice. That Muslim marriage agency had many rooms, each room designed for a specific age group. In one particular room, the old man found 15 Indian Muslim girls aged 11. Those 15 little girls looked like Barbie dolls dressed in burqas, but for the sake of the business, they had their faces uncovered. By the way, in some Muslim countries, Barbie dolls must by law have hijabs or niqabs. The pro-Sharia American Muslims are trying to push for the same. The old man demanded that all the 11-year-old girls should be stripped of their burqas so that he could make good his choice, and Farooq Khan ordered all the little girls to come out of their Islamic cocoons so that his rich Arab customer could make his selection. The small girls removed their black burqas and stood like dolls in their Indian salwar kameez. The old man demanded further that he wanted each girl to remove her salwar kameez and remain in her bra and underwear only. Farooq Khan rejected that demand because it was haram in Islam for the man to see the body of a girl who wasn't his wife yet. Even so, when the old man insisted and threatened to cancel the deal and withdraw his money, the pimp agreed to the haram situation for the sake of money. Some of the little girls said they would not strip in front of each other, they said they would do so one at a time and behind the modesty afforded by a curtain. The dalal and the old man agreed to accommodate that moral demand. The old Saudi man was asked to sit inside a small room much like a fitting room in a clothing store. The 15 small girls were ordered by the wicked dalal to enter that fitting room one after another and strip off her salwar kameez in front of the old geezer, then put her clothes back and then come out. Each girl was given a number, starting from girl number 1 to girl number 15. The old man was told by Farooq Khan to write down the number of the girl that won his heart. The old man touched the body of each girl as if he was buying a lamb. His hands wandered between their breasts and bums and did not spare the face and lips too. He managed to kiss and hug some of them, but some resisted and refused to allow him to do haram and fahisha with them before marriage. The wicked old man claimed to have made wrong choices 3 times. So, each girl was forced to enter behind the curtain and strip off before him 3 times. Finally, the girl number 13 was chosen to be the wife of the wealthy Saudi man. Her name was Amina Hyder Ali. As soon as he chose her, the old man took hold of her hand and began to walk her with him out of the fitting room, heading toward the door as if he bought a jariya from the slave market at the time of the Prophet Muhammad. Farooq Khan stopped him and said to him he would not allow him to take her to his hotel unless the nikah or marriage contract was performed. He said further that he could not allow him to commit haram acts with the girl without marrying her. The old man said he had already paid her price. The dalal said to him he was running a marriage agency and not a slave trade. Unwillingly, the old man agreed to perform the nikah contract. Then, the dalal sent one of his boys to the lucky chosen girl's parents to carry the good news to them and bring the father of the girl to sign the nikah contract of his daughter with her soon-to-be wealthy Saudi bridegroom. In less than half an hour a man who looked like he had not eaten for many days came with the messenger of the good news. Shortly, after him the mazun of a nearby mosque was phoned and called in. The mazun came with 2 male witnesses and with the blessings of the father. The marriage contract between Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed and Amina Hyder Ali was conducted according the Sunnah of Allah and His Messenger. Then, and only then, was the old man allowed to take his bride to his hotel. Before the newly wedded couple left the premises of that renowned Muslim marriage agency, the proprietor Farooq Khan took the bridegroom aside and gave him a piece of advice. He told him not to consummate his nikah with the girl until they had safely reached his country. The word nikah in Sharia has various meanings. The most widely used mean legal fornication with any number of female slaves, lawful adultery with 2, 3, or 4 women at the same time, legalized rape with female children, and of course conventional marriage with one woman. However, the old man thought that Farooq Khan wanted to trick him. He rejected the advice and determined in his heart to consummate his marriage with his child bride on the very same day he married her. He knew that Amina had already crossed the lawful prescribed age of 9 years for nikah. When they reached the hotel, the old man raped the little girl until she began to cry loudly. Since everyone in the hotel was a Muslim and the hotel management had seen the marriage contract between the Muslim Arab man and the Muslim Indian girl, no one intervened or tried to save the girl from her rapist. From that day, the old man raped the 11-year-old girl and continued to rape her day and night until the marriage agency arranged her passport. The old man already had a maidservant visa with him, so 1 week from the day he came to the city he took his new child bride to Hyderabad airport and headed to Tehran via Mumbai. Before she got married to the 80-year-old Saudi man, Amina was virgin and had not yet had her menses. She was simply not ready in the slightest for sex. When the old man raped her on the day she was sold in marriage to him, she felt as if he was digging a hole inside her vagina. She bled profusely and experienced unbearable pain. On the following day, she experienced more pain than the first day. The evil old geezer caused many abrasions and tears in her privates. Therefore, the second rape gave her more pain than the first one. Every day, the pain increased and her torture, undiminished. As was his plan all along, the old man continued to rape her day and night until her papers were complete. Amina wished for death before the old man could take her to his country and continue causing her anguish and pain. When her parents came to say goodbye to her at the airport, she begged them to take her away from the old man. Her father shouted at her and told her that he would cut her throat if she said that again. Moreover, he told her not to tell anyone that the old man was her husband or try to run away from him. If anyone asked her, she should say he was her employer and she was his maidservant. Out of the fear of her father, the little girl agreed to go with the old man to the airplane. Inside the plane, Amina felt as if she was sitting beside a ravenous wolf. His old face and long beard reminded her of the story of the Beauty and the Beast that her schoolteacher narrated it to her. She was shaking and trembling in fear from the Hyderabad airport until their plane landed at Santa Cruz Domestic Airport at Mumbai. They were transferred by bus from the domestic airport to the Sahara International Airport, and when they reached the departure hall, Amina knew that she was far enough from her father. She began to cry and resist when the old man tried to pull her with him and walk her to the plane. This drew the curiosity of the other passengers and some airport officials. One woman interfered and asked Amina in Hindi why she was crying. The old man shouted at the woman, who began to talk to his wife. He talked to her in Arabic and ordered her not to talk to his kadamiya. One Indian man understood the meaning of the word kadamiya and told the Indian woman that the little girl was a Muslim maidservant to the Arab old man. However, Amina spoke to the woman and told her why she was crying. She exposed the old man and said openly that she wasn't his kadamiya, but his wife. The people who heard her words were shocked when they learned that the 80-year Arab man was her husband. Someone called the airport police immediately and the matter became an official complaint. When the police arrived at the scene, the old Saudi man was placed under arrest. He was handcuffed, slapped, and kicked by a police officer in front of everyone. Some Indian women spat on the face of the old man and some men called him Teri Ma Ki Chut, Teri Bahan Ki Chut. Some people pushed him and some pinched him. Some very angry passengers even tried to kill him. The crowd would have killed the old man if not for the 6 tough police officers that surrounded him. After that, the old man was dragged out of the airport and thrown into a police truck. The little girl Amina was taken in a different police car and sent to the hospital for a rape test. The tests proved that Amina had been brutally raped by the old Saudi man, and the hospital sent the results to the police. When she was questioned at the hospital, Amina revealed her real age to the police. The city of Mumbai was turned upside down when the midday newspapers published the news. The headlines read, 80-year-old Saudi man weds 11-year-old Hyderabad Muslim girl. Citizens of Mumbai demonstrated in thousands, went to the police headquarters and demanded that the old Saudi man be hanged to death. The main leaders of Shiv Sena stood behind the wave of popular support and mirrored the call for capital punishment. There were a few Muslim-organized marches and protests, which called for the immediate release of the Muslim old man and his Muslim wife. Their religious leaders said that the marriage of the Saudi Muslim man and the Indian Muslim girl was valid according to their holy Quran and the Sunnah of their Prophet. They quoted the Quran Surah 64, verse 5 and referred to the marriage of their Prophet Muhammad with his 6-year-old Aisha. They considered the example of the 6-year-old Aisha and the 54-year-old Prophet Muhammad is sufficient proof to clear the Saudi man from kidnap and rape crime. Nevertheless, the Mumbai police contacted the police of Hyderabad, who then ordered the immediate arrest of Amina's father and Farooq Khan, the Mazun, and the 3 male witnesses who signed the unlawful marriage contract. According to Indian marriage law, a girl is not allowed to get married until she reaches 18 and the boy 21. The only exception to the rule allows a 17-year-old girl to wed with parental consent. In India, legally, at least, an Indian girl has the right to marry regardless of parental wishes. The law is applicable to all Indian girls regardless of religion and caste. Sex with a girl below 17 is deemed to be statutory rape or rape of a minor. As provided for by the laws of the land, the old Saudi was arrested for rape, kidnap and the attempt to smuggle a sex-slave minor Indian girl out of the country. Under the persuasive methods of interrogation of the Indian police, Sheikh Faiz bin Ahmed admitted that he contracted the little girl in marriage and slept with her for 7 days and 7 nights. However, he tried to justify his marriage on the grounds that the marriage agency deceived him about the real age of the girl. The Mumbai police did not buy that line and they flogged the old man mercilessly, until he spoke the truth. After his interrogation, the old Saudi man was placed under trial. Amina was placed under the care of the Maharashtra state government, who decided to place her in a foster home, awaiting adoptive parents who had been vetted by the government. Given the publicity generated by her case, the government had to process, in 1 month alone, 500,000 applications from wealthy people all over the country who wanted to adopt Amina Hyder Ali.